And hello, thanks for joining us on Vacation Station TV, your virtual getaway. And where am I today? At one of my favorite places and Marie's places, the Heritage Museum in Townsend. And today they're having the Winterfest that is going on this Saturday. What a beautiful day it is today. The weather is in the 40s and lots of people here today. And they're having live reenactments. They're having music, as you just heard, some of the music that is going on here at the Heritage Museum. And this is a place that everybody should come and take advantage of, because there is so much history going on here that you can spend the whole day with the whole family and everyone will have a grand time. Let's take a look around and see what they're offering. Just some of the reenactors that you'll see here today. The museum is one of those places that if you come into Pigeon Forge, you're not going to see signs leading here. But if you want to come to a place that is super fun, just really a nice place to come. It's the Townsend Heritage Museum, and there's an inside museum with two very large displays from Native American artifacts, and they have then they have a rotating set of things from different artisans, so you can come in constantly. And we have unique passes here, and they're serving food here today. They have live entertainment, and then of course the town that you can see right there. And it's always fun to go through, and always a joy just to come on by and see what's going on. And you can hear them shooting, and there's all sorts of cool stuff going in here today. I think you'll enjoy it. Let's take a walk around. This is one of my favorite places to come because I love the original log cabins excuse me, that were taken down off of different people's properties and then resurrected here, put back in order. They're numbered, and you can see that they're dovetailed joint log construction, and that's why these things have lasted for so many years, because the way of the construction allows these things to be put back just like Lincoln logs. Absolutely wonderful place to come.
American buffalo, American bison, and it started out rough as this one, and so I'm knocking the rough off, and then it'll get to where it's polished like these ovens here. This happens to be a blowing horn or a foxhorn.
And they're used for hunting?
Yeah. Well, what they did was they'd step out on the porch of an evening and blow the horn and let their neighbor know, I'm going to hunt and bring you dogs and join me. So they'd go hunting. They get done sitting by the fire chasing the fox or the coons or whatever it was they was hunting. They'd blow the horn and call the dogs back in.
Very good.
So that's a story I tell. Whether it's real accurate or not, I don't know.
Well, who's going to authenticate it?
Yeah. Well, we'd have to get a fox hunter or a coon hunter to tell us the truth. Yeah.
How long does it take you to make one of those?
Well, a good 30 hours probably.
Really?
to get it finished. Yeah, because once I get done with the rasp, I'll go to a scraper and I'll knock out these marks with the scraper, and then I sand it, and then I use steel wool, and then I buff it.
And change colors. Oh, hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good, you're back.
Yep, watching you create.
Oh, well, I wish you'd stop for a second. Can we pause? Because I'm having a bad moment here. I'm trying to change colors and I'm dropping things.
Now, when you change colors, you change it right out of the shovel itself?
I take out one bobbin and I put in another bobbin.
How soft it is?
So I just buried the tail of that one and then I'll start a new color here.
All this loose fiber.
Now, what type of, it looks like a small carpet you're making. Or
We call them mug rugs.
Mug rug?
They're a coaster for a mug. They'll shrink up when I wash them. They're 100% cotton. So they'll get, I'll probably lose about an inch each way on this. So they'll maybe be 5 by 5 with a little fringe on them.
And that'd be used, like I said, put a mug or a cup.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Right. And it's an overshot
in the
pattern.
opposite direction.
Oh, I remember that from last time, the
Right.
overshot pattern. How did that come out, the one you made? Did you finish it?
I don't know how far back. I don't know that I've woven much since then, but on these. Yeah, I just keep winding them up. One of these days I'll take them all off.
How long will this one take you to make?
Well, I can do one in about an hour when I'm at home without interruptions.
Very quick.
But I started this morning at 10:30, so you can see how far it got.
And lots of interruptions.
With lots of interruptions. Yeah.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
So tell us what you're doing.
I am scrubbing out the tea kettle because it somehow got full of ash and
Is that normal?
no.
No. Oh,
We went
okay.
to make some tea and when we poured it out it was full of ash.
We'll call it
So-
ash tea. And it's very tasty.
So I'm just giving it a little scour to pick up any particles that are inside the cast iron.
So normally this would be a process of the soapy water, the less soapy water, and then the cleaner water?
Yes, yeah. Although I wouldn't be soaking my cast iron.
That wouldn't be normal.
No.
No.
I'm just using the scrubber to get the particles out of the inside of it.
Now what would you normally use to clean cast iron?
You would just scrub it out maybe with a little salt,
Sand?
sand,
Yeah.
maybe. You
In the
don't
Boy
really
Scouts I
want-
used to use sand.
Yeah, you know, if you got plenty of water for rinsing, that works okay. Yeah.
If you didn't have salt, you use sand. Because it takes the rust and the
It
hard
does. It
stuff
pulls
off.
the particle, like the little bits of
Grizzle?
particulates.
Yeah,
that-
a little. Because when you're frying, you're going to get a lot of grizzle, and
Right.
the salt won't take the grizzle off.
It'll work as an abrasive and a cleaner, and you don't really want to remove the fats
No,
from your cast iron.
because that's the coating that you want.
Yeah.
Would you keep a can of fat somewhere nearby? Animal fat?
You pour all your fats into a can or a jar and save them for frying in, and yeah.
How long does the fat last?
Kind of depends on the weather and how clean you keep it and whether you filter it out, right? I mean,
Is that right? Yeah.
yeah.
You have to. I guess you have to filter it from time to time because you don't want meat grizzle and stuff. Because
Yeah, you
that's
probably
the
keep
part.
like a little piece of cheesecloth over your
Right,
to
which we
filter
still
as
use
you're
today.
pouring the hot fat in.
We still use that today.
Yeah.
That's a common practice to filter anything out is cheesecloth. or your shawl. Yeah, of course, because they're cold. You're not. You're by the fire. I bet it's nice and warm by that fire. You happen to be the lucky one spinning. Now, what are you doing?
I am preparing to spin again. I'm using clean wool
Okay.
that has had all the smell and extra grease and any vegetable matter or organic matter removed from it.
How was that done?
You scour it with hot water and soap,
Just like that.
just like that.
Does it? You boil it? You work it?
You don't want to work it because if you work it, it'll felt, and then you won't be able to spin it. So
It'll
kind of-
felt. It's called felting,
It'll all the fibers will come together and it'll be one mass.
and you don't want that.
And you don't want that. And then you comb it all so that everything is facing the same direction, so that as you spin, these fibers will come together and hook with each other and become.
And you keep
Extra.
that in your lap, and then as you're using your thumb and your forefinger to,
my
I
left
guess,
hand.
gently twist.
Nope, this is doing all the twist. This
So you're
the
just
spinning of the
guiding
wheel.
it.
I'm just guiding it with this hand. I'm keeping my right hand pinched so that the spin doesn't come down into what I'm still working with.
So you're working with your right hand.
I'm pinching with my right hand and guiding and pulling with my left hand. And the wheel is putting all the spin in.
It pulls it in onto the
It
bottom.
pulls it in onto the bottom. So
How long will it take you to go through that little pile of wool?
45 minutes.
Oh, not bad at all. And then where do we go from here?
Once I've completed this, and at this time I'm going to use all 3 bobbins. And once all of those bobbins are full, I will put 2 down here and hold 1 off to the side and put a 4th bobbin up here and bring all of those into one so that they're twisted. And at that point I'll twist the opposite direction
Why?
so that the extra twist that I put in going this way will relax a little bit so there's not too much tension, and so that it'll catch on itself the other way.
Interesting.
It's kind of like a double helix in
I'm
your
sorry.
DNA. The double helix in your DNA,
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's that same durability.
Because otherwise it would just keep twisting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
And you don't want it too twisted or the fabric won't work well when you go to knit or weave or crochet or whatever.
And this was a daily routine?
It would take about a year to go from the animal to a garment. So the different steps would be a daily routine, usually done at
To
night.
get to that point.
To get to that point. So that you would need to shear the animal, then clean the wool, then card the wool, and tease it, and then you would spin it. And once it was spun, you would then need to weave it and clean that cloth, and then you could make it into clothing. So from animal to
About a year.
was about a year. And
Now,
so,
once you sheared that animal in that year's time, it should be ready for another shearing, correct?
Right.
So the whole idea is to just keep this process going.
Yes.
Very cool indeed. Very cool indeed.
But this would be something you do when there's less light.
Less light.
Yeah.
Oh, because you didn't have electric light, so you
Right.
have to kind of work by the fire and a candle, correct?
Right. And I don't need a lot of light for this. So
It's done by feel?
all of it's done by feel. Which is why I don't wear shoes, so I can feel the pedals.
Don't your feet get cold?
Yes, that's why I stopped for a while.
Your feet must be chilly. Is this something that would have been passed on to, like,
Excuse
a
me,
younger one?
Yes, I've already started teaching her.
You're kidding. You know how to do this? You're learning.
Cyber fair, I kind of practiced a little bit, and I got it in like,
Wow.
I got pretty good at it in like a few hours maybe.
Not bad. That's pretty. And then from there, will you teach her how to do the loom and stuff? And
I've taught her how to knit. I don't weave much, so somebody else will have to teach her that bit.
He
excellent.
made an entire ball of yarn in one entire day.
You did?
I on drop spindle, kind of did. Like, I started on one day and then I finished on the second day.
Excellent job. Very good. And how old is she?
9.
And knows this? Now, your mother would have taught you in
She had a
those
clue,
days.
yes.
If she had a clue. She went to Walmart. Very good. Thank you for the information.
Yes.
Good job, girl.
Thank you.
This is always so interesting to come here and learn something new each time I come. And that's why I prod them for questions, because I don't know. I don't know. And I want to know. I do want to know. Not that I'll be weaving or doing any loom work in the near future, but it sure is a lot of fun to learn. And this is something that you can bring your kids and your grandkids to, because they too can, not necessarily they're going to jump on a loom or start weaving or doing what these ladies have been doing, but it's something that might spark their interest, and maybe they will do it. It's such a cool experience. You just don't find this anywhere else. It's the Heritage Museum, and right in Townsend. And if you're coming off of 321, you just come from Pigeon Forge, as most of you would be coming from, take 321 till it dumps out on the highway, make a left and go about half a mile, and you'll see the Townsend, the Visitor Center, and then the Heritage Center is right next door, just not more, maybe 100 yards, 200 yards away. Very, very close indeed. But a great place to come. And they have really a good crowd here today. Very nice. I'm very, very shocked because it's the end of the season. This place is packed, so this is very cool. Beautiful Smoky Mountains up there, as you can see. Just this place is outdoors, so you don't have to worry really about social distancing, although everybody is wearing their mask. When you go into the cabins, you're supposed to wear your mask, but once you get outside, there's nothing. I mean, it's just gorgeous out today. It's in the 40s. Let's go over to where they make moonshine, shall we? I love that. And as you can see, the parking lot, this is just one of the 3 parking lots. It's full. And usually this time of the year, there's not very many people here, but they have a really good following here at the Heritage Center. And of course, if you want to know how to make moonshine, this is right where you're going to come. Isn't this cool? How they make moonshine. Where are you guys from? You're on Vacation Station TV.
Oh, no, we're from Loudon, Tennessee.
Oh, glad you're here.
Yeah, I was raised down here.
So you know about this stuff. Here's my cards. There it is. What do you think about this place? Have you been here before?
That's the first time I've been in the museum part here.
And what do you think?
It's pretty cool.
They got a lot to offer, don't they? There's lots to see, lots to do here, and it's a lot different than the typical tourist stuff that you'd find like in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. And this is more intuitive, and you get to learn and find out about what actually went on, which moonshining is. I guess your family was from here, correct?
No.
No?
No.
Where are they from?
I'm originally from, I was born in Colorado.
Okay, they didn't do a lot of moonshining in Colorado.
Yeah, they did.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my mom's ex-husbands there used to go around and blow up steels.
but they made it here a lot. You know, this was the way that people made money, especially during the Depression. This was the only way, and get their entertainment at the same time. And anyone you want to shout out to? Can't think of any. Got any kids?
No.
How about mom or dad?
Mom's at the house.
Say hello to mom.
She don't watch TV. She's old and senile.
Oh,
She don't know where she's at half the
guess
time.
who's out of the will? You're out completely. You want to shout out to somebody? No?
Thank you.
Very good. Well, thank you. I appreciate you talking with me.
Sure.
Out of the will. Maybe I'll be in. Mom, I love you dearly, Mom. Put me in the will. Now, here are the vats. This would be a typical vat. Now, of course, they made them differently, but for the most part, this is where they would have boiled up the, whatever they're using, maybe the corn or anything you can make moonshine out of, anything, potatoes, corn, any vegetable. I don't think tomatoes, I don't think you could do tomatoes. Now, they wouldn't have had electricity. They would have done this most of it by hand in the woods where nobody could see them, and then it would be boiled down there, so it would be taken from there to there and boiled down. And I guess, now I've never actually seen one in action, but I'm assuming there must have been an odor in the air as the alcohol was being developed. So I'm not really sure. Maybe that's how they caught them sometimes, maybe. But in order to make the moonshine, they would have had jars. And they would collect jars from all over. And in those days, glass was pretty much the only thing. There was no plastic. So jars, no matter what size or what they were, they would have moonshine in them. And this is actually a picture of the Williams still. And you're actually viewing one of the best kept secrets of the Smoky Mountains, an infamous still, whose ingenious underground location kept law enforcement officers and revenuers searching for it unsuccessfully for years. The still was built around 1960 by Charles Williams and his family of Carr's Creek, who kept the entire operation hidden under his shed. And it's only extended loan to the museum by his son, Mike Williams. This is actually the still that was being used in the 1960s. And you can see quite a good operation, and they call it good old Mountain Dew, as you know. And it was a source of income which provided food and clothing to many of the mountain families in East Tennessee. This was especially true in Mr. Williams' case, using a family recipe passed down from Irish relatives. His divorced mother resorted to making liquor in order to supply her family with basic needs for survival. That is something else. It had to be done. And it's not that it was just to do things illegally, it's just it had to be done for the family. Now, making moonshine, or mash as they call it, production of homemade liquor required large amounts of pure water, sugar, and corn, and of course kerosene to fuel the fire. It also required considerable time and organization. Days to the week in advance, ingredients were purchased and preparations were made to create mash. The sugary corn mixture would be then turned into moonshine. To begin the process, corn kernels were mixed in warm water and left to a spout in a barrel. Once spouting or sprouting was done, the corn was ground and placed into cardboard trays. These trays were put on the ground, and the sprouted corn or malt were placed on the concrete floor of the still house, and they were left to dry. Several days later, water was boiled in large copper pots and then transferred to a 400-gallon mash barrel. Cornmeal and sugar were added to the boiling water, and the mixture was allowed to cool. More sugar and malt corn from the previous step were added. This concoction, better known as mash, was left to ferment for up to 6 days. And then after that, put in bottles and distributed accordingly.
You know what this part is?
Oh, that's the cutting.
Nope, not yet. So I got a cutting thing right over there. We'll cut it off with. This is gonna be a little chisel. I'm gonna put little lines in it.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot mine.
I'm saying no. Yes.
You want to show you how it's done?
Yes. Mine, the handles are longer than the ones I'm used to.
Because like the throwing ones are shorter and they got a smaller head.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, you should get points for that.
Yeah, you get points for ground. Okay.
I'm not used to throwing them with these coats on.
Yeah, I know, seriously, it locks your shoulder up. You kind of want to go around.
Yeah. I think holding two, balancing one of your hand helps too.
Alright.
I think it kind of evens you out.
Try this one. Yeah, well, this one's a little lighter here.
You like it?
I know. Some older man walked up. He said, "I've never done this before." I said, I handed him one, and first throw he got it. And he's like, I ain't doing it again.
I got it the first time. That's cool. All right, so now you can talk to me about the flintlocks.
All right. These are smooth bore. They're called fusil de chassis, which is French for hunting gun. And they're smooth bore. These are roughly 20 gauge. And they shoot a 62 caliber ball and patch. Or they could shoot, the paper cartridges that the military used was a buck and ball. So there's the ball and there's the buck. So that would be a buck shot. And you'd have one of those and one of those, and that would give you more. You're shooting 2 bullets out of your gun instead of 1, so that'd give you a little, that hits somebody, they're going to be out of the fight, hopefully. And or you can shoot lead shot and use it as a shotgun. It's a small game hunt. Use your trade blanket and trade them a little something off of there. That would be a period trade blanket you'd trade with other people in Indians.
Very cool.
This is a painting my grandmother did of our on a Facebook and old Fort
Okay, and we're continuing our tour in Townsend, and we're at the Heritage Center, and I am with
Brett Lambert. I'm the executive director.
Oh, pleasure to meet you.
It's great to meet you.
Looks like a great turnout today.
It really is. I think people are having fun. It's beautiful weather. We couldn't have ordered up anything better.
Great day today.
It really is.
The sun, it's very comfortable. Now this morning was a little chilly when I got here. Very comfortable now, and you're all dressed for the warmth anyway.
That's right.
Now I noticed back there behind my shoulder, and I'll just pan over there.
Sure.
You have a chow hut. Let's call it a chow, but what do you call it?
we have a little concessions area. And
see, chow hut sounds better, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. That concessions, I see sports or something like
right.
that.
That's right. Okay. We have today we're just serving hot drinks out of there, hot chocolate, apple cider, coffee, that kind of thing. It was a popular stop this morning.
Oh, I bet. I'm sure everyone was going for that hot coffee and the hot chocolate. Now, do you always have that going during your events?
Typically during larger events we will. We will have something available there, like concerts. We try to have snack items as well,
such as
drinks. Kettle corn.
You make it right here?
We don't. We do have a supplier who brings it to us the day he makes it.
Very good. So it's fresh.
It is good. Yes.
Very
It's
good.
very, very good.
Do you ever have cooking on the premises where people are creating their own dishes?
We do. We have. We typically will have open hearth demonstrations. So that will typically take place in the Cardwell cabin.
Okay.
And I think there may be someone in there today actually doing some open hearth cooking.
And what would they normally make?
I have seen a number of things. Of course, the desserts are the best. So we have gingerbread. I have seen them make homemade eggnog back during the holidays. Just a number of really wonderful dishes.
I bet.
They had a mincemeat pie back at Christmas as well.
Tasty,
just
I'm
wonderful.
Sure, and made right in the cabin.
Made right in the cabin.
Now, what more could you want? How more authentic could you get?
That's right.
And this is what normally would have been cooked back in the 1800s. This is what they would eat.
That's right.
A big old pot of stew or whatever they caught for the day.
Exactly.
And that's excellent. Excellent. What is next on the list? Now, I know that right now things are kind of dwindled down for this month, but coming March or February, what's going to happen here?
We actually will start our Tuesday at 2 series in March, early March. Mm-hmm. And what that is it's typically an hour to hour and a half lecture series. And this year, because we're not really going to have it the way we've done it before, where it was inside, we're going to do a virtual Tuesday at 2. So we're going to actually live stream demonstrations. There's a salt maker that will demonstrate how to make salt the old-fashioned way.
I don't know how to do that, but I'm going to watch.
So we have that lined up. We have another cooking demonstration. We also have blacksmithing demonstration. The gentleman, Michael Inser.
I just got some video from there.
He will be doing one of those.
Excellent.
One of those lectures as well, demonstrations really. So although we won't have people physically here, you will be able to tune in and see those. So that'll start up in March. We also have concerts starting in April, and we have been able to continue to do those throughout the summer, this past summer. We are fortunate enough to have an outdoor facility where we can socially distance people and still have plenty of folks here,
right?
And so it works out well for everyone. Yeah. And that has been really since we reopened back in May after the mandatory shutdown. We have been very, very conscious of safety.
I've noticed that,
And so if we can have events outside, we'll have events outside. If we can't do that, we will try to add some kind of virtual aspect to it so that people can see things.
How about combining the two?
And we are playing with that a little bit as well. We have done. We actually had a concert in December. Billy Dean, country music.
I was here.
Yeah, he was here, and we actually did a live stream of that. So that was our first attempt at doing a big event live stream, and also
there's a lot of trial and error with that.
Yes,
but it's really easier than you think now. It's not like it used to be. It was very complicated technically. Not anymore.
Right.
Very good. Very impressed, and I'm glad to be a member. And more people should be members. And how do they become members?
We actually try to make it as easy as possible.
It's easy for me.
You can, if you're here, you can fill out an application while you're here. You can do that by phone. You can also mail in an application, or we have an online checkout process where 2 or 3 clicks, you're through the process.
You got it figured out.
Well,
even during a pandemic. Even during a pandemic, you got it figured out. Very good. Very, very happy, very proud to be part of this crew.
Well, thank you very much. We're glad to have you.
Website,
yes. gsmheritagecenter.org.
Go to it and sign up, become a member.
Absolutely. And you'll see at the top of the page, there are about 6 links. One of those says shop, and that will allow you to become a member, allow you to buy admission tickets, or buy merchandise from the gift shop.
Very good. Do it today. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.